Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. Hope you enjoy. Story number 1. So They Would Always Have a Friend, written by Clock Tower Echoes. Ever since the first human looked up into the night sky, they wondered who else might be out there. If there was another species like them, thousands of light years away, looking into the same infinite sea of stars for a friend. Even though no one ever answered back when they greeted the night, humans still held hope of being able to meet another sentient species like themselves. In the absence of a friend to be with them, humanity made their own up in stories and tales around fires. They crafted wonderful and beautiful stories of gods and heroes who came down from the stars to teach them, to guide them, to defend them, to unite them, but most importantly, to keep them company in those dark, lonely nights. Their first rockets pointed at space were powered by as much by the insatiable curiosity to find other sentient life as they were rocket fuel. They launched their rockets skyward and filled Earth's orbit with satellites, but no one noticed. That's okay, they said. Space is vast and satellites are small. They are probably hard to notice. They then sent satellites and probes to their own solar system, soon sending humans into space onto their moon and their closest friend, Luna. But no one answered. That's okay, they said. Life like us might not exist in our system, but there is still a galaxy waiting to be explored. Maybe they can find someone out there. Then they breached the FTL barrier and began to explore the galaxy, sending fleets of exploratory ships in the hope of finding new worlds and alien life. This is great, they said. Surely we can find another in uncharted space, or at least the ruins of their civilization. Then they had uncovered and charted the entire galaxy. Humans went to the furthest edges and to the greatest depths, braving countless dangers and witnessing even more wonders. The flags of humanity stood on worlds all over the galaxy, and humanity became the master of 10,000 stars and 1,000,000 worlds. But still there was no one else in the galaxy with them, not even ruins. That is okay, they reassured themselves. Surely we cannot be alone. Humanity had advanced beyond anything previous generations could imagine. Their technology became like magic. They could cure any disease, terraform any world, create any ship, produce any item, and build anything they wished. But there was no one to celebrate with them. Nobody to share what they had made. Nobody to benefit from what they created. And nobody to even recognize their accomplishments but themselves. Humanity had come first in a one-person race with an empty stadium. A hollow achievement. Humanity was alone. Once upon a time, before they became masters of the Milky Way, humanity told stories of what they thought the future would be like, how they would meet fascinating alien races, cooperate in grand projects, fight grand battles against existential threats, and age into an ancient empire that would help usher the younger species into the galactic community, with their 1,000-year allies by their side. But it all remained as stories. There were no other alien races, no cooperative projects, no existential threat, no younger species to guide, no 1,000-year allies to stand with, and no galaxy to be a part of. There was only humanity, alone in a cold, vast, lonely void. Humanity was the greatest species in the Milky Way, but it meant little in the face of nothingness. So they decided on a new course of action. If the galaxy was vast, empty, and devoid of life, they would fill it with life and become the forerunners they always thought they would meet. Great fleets of ships traveled to every planet with even a spark of life where they would uplift suitable pre-sentient species, and if there were none to be found, made new species themselves to inhabit the world, planet by planet. Humanity seeded the galaxy with life so that one day those species might be able to experience everything an aging humanity wished it did in the excitement of youth the millennia past. They filled the galaxy with life so they could always have a friend and someone to answer when they looked into the night sky. No one knows where the humans have gone, having all disappeared prior formation of the galactic community. when few races even had created their own spacefaring vessels and left no trace of what caused their mysterious disappearance. There are 100 theories about what happened, but they have left their scions archives and facilities full of data, information and knowledge collected over their long, lonely lifespan to teach and guide them. There is not a species in the galaxy who does not thank or respect the human forerunners. Some even worship them as divine beings who gave them the spark of life and the gift of sentience. The Sol system has long been seen as a protected area, a cultural landmark of collective galactic heritage. Earth, once home to humanity, is now a cosmopolitan capital of the Milky Way and a mother to thousands of sentient species instead of just one. On Luna, there is a shrine with a golden disk that humans once sent out into space in an attempt to greet others that has now been returned home, its mission honorably fulfilled. And on Mars there is a memorial dedicated to the early rover humanity sent to the Red Planet, and once thought lost until rediscovered many billions of days past its 90-day mission, named after the thing humanity ultimately gave to the current generation of galactic life: opportunity. Once upon a time, humanity told stories of gods and heroes from the sky who came down to help them. They built great ships to meet them, but found that the heavens were blank, and the gods and heroes who they venerated never existed at all, only finding a dark, empty, lonely galaxy. From this great isolation and void, they decided to fill the galaxy with life. They would become the gods and heroes from eons past they hoped to find, so the void would never be lonely again, and no other species would have to endure their isolation. So they would always have a friend. End of story. Story number 2, Heterogeneous, written by British Tea Company. Perhaps the most amazing feat of nature that has ever been conceived was not the existence of multiple, perhaps infinite universes, but the fact that across all these universes there is always the existence of one common biological achievement, the existence of a certain primate race that always will emerge from a world they will name Earth. The greatest feat that these primates have unconsciously accomplished is the fact that even prior to the period of time where they make their decision to who they will be in the universe, they already inhabit the most curious state of being. They are very diverse, very heterogeneous within their traits, though some would characterize this as a result of the fact that there are many versions of humanity. This can be easily disproven by the fact that their history shows much dichotomy. From even a biological standpoint, one could easily postulate the disposition, philosophy, and ideology any dumb animal will possess if given sentience. Burly and muscular predators will inevitably grow into brutal warlords, while the wily scavengers will ultimately evolve into hoarding corporate state. Likewise, we see how territorial pack inevitably becomes a proud warrior race, while the nurturing herd ascends into a peaceful diplomats. With humans, however, it had never been so simple. In their evolution, humans were just as commonly seen as docile apes as they were savage predators. As we look upon the states of several incarnations of humanity, we see the dichotomy has split even further. From power-hungry imperialists, fanatical crusaders, mindful colonizers, vengeful retributionists, and fighting revolutionaries, it would be almost easy to believe that all these humans could each be a different species in itself. But at the end of the divergence of traits, we return to what humanity finds once more to be on common ground. It is not an inborn trait of being pragmatically evil, inherently selfish, unfalteringly just, or possessing strong will. If they were all human with no word in all existence to define the state of being. What do I mean that they're human? It's an innate bond that draws otherwise bloodthirsty, violent, vindictive, and spiteful creatures together. A race of godlike beings that tirelessly work to improve the lives of their lesser counterparts. An immortal emperor who wants nothing more than his people's success. A sole survivor who wants nothing more than his people back. These are all examples of what makes humans human. And now I have witnessed the most peculiar of things. I had always fathomed the likelihood that someone would discover the means of crossing the rifts between universes, and it appears that the more powerful human factions have accomplished this feat. That, however, is the least interesting of what I've observed. Two political powerhouses have discovered a third, much weaker state. Yet despite the conflict of ideologies that they would easily sour relations between any other combination of creatures, there is nothing but careful dialogue around the table. I watch the most amazing phenomena that extends beyond simple boundaries. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and patrons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Lord Azrakal, Dragzoon WRE, Holly Sister, Ambrose Cattell, and Quantum Wednesday. Thank you very much.